This is the dramatic tale of two Thanksgiving stuffings. Let's clarify that: gluten-free and vegan stuffings, cornbread stuffing and traditional bread stuffing to be exact. Bob and Judith have been invited to the family Thanksgiving dinner at Aunt Matilda's house. They've been assigned to bring the stuffing. The problem is that they both are gluten-free and vegan. Let's listen in.
Now what do we do?
Yeah, you know Uncle Hank is going to throw a fit over our stuffing if it's gluten-free and vegan.
Hold on a moment. Fear not, my children. I am your gluten-free and vegan recipe fairy godmother. First off, Uncle Hank doesn't know his from a hole in the ground. And let me show you how to win him over with these recipes for gluten-free and vegan cornbread and traditional bread stuffings.
Thank you, fairy godmother.
It's my pleasure, and to our viewers, you'll want to stick around to see what Uncle Hank has to say about these stuffings. This cornbread stuffing is a pleasant combination of buttery goodness layered with the savory undertones of sage, mixed with the sweetness of bosc pears and fresh cranberries. Toasted pecans add texture and crunch. This recipe features the cornbread from this channel's prior video, which I've linked below. You'll need one batch of gluten-free and vegan cornbread that was made in an 8 by 8 inch pan. Cut that into 1-inch cubes and spread the cubes on a baking tray lined with parchment paper. Place the cornbread cubes in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes or until they become crispy. You want them crisp enough to absorb liquids during baking while retaining the cornbread texture. Dice 1 yellow onion. Dice 3 washed celery stalks. Add 4 tablespoons of vegan butter to a large pot over medium heat.
That's a lot of butter.
Oh, come now. It's Thanksgiving. Just stuff your mug with delicious food as a treat, and you just might bond with Uncle Hank. Now let me get on with this recipe. Add the diced onion and celery to the melted butter and stir on medium heat for about 3 minutes so that the vegetables soften. Then stir in 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Then add 1 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. Stir the seasonings and vegetables together. Turn off the heat to prevent burning while you complete the next step. Toast pecan halves in a 350-degree oven for about 3 to 5 minutes. Salt and wash 1 cup of fresh cranberries. Finally, slice 2 tablespoons of fresh sage. Dice 2 cleaned bosc pears into small cubes. Add the cranberries, pears, sage and toasted pecans to the pot of cooked vegetables. Stir to combine everything together. Add the cornbread cubes and stir these into the vegetable and fruit mixture. Then add 2 cups of vegetable broth. Stir everything together well to combine. Rub the inside of a casserole dish with butter. Yes, more butter. Pour the cornbread stuffing into the baking dish, cover it with foil, and bake the casserole in a 350-degree oven for 40 minutes with the foil on top. After 40 minutes of baking, remove the foil and bake for an additional 20 minutes. The top of the stuffing should be slightly crispy and the bottom layers a bit softer. If you like drier stuffing, stir it and place it back into the oven to bake longer. If you like it more moist, add more vegetable broth and stir and bake again for a few more minutes. There you have it, delicious gluten-free and vegan cornbread stuffing.
Thank you, fairy godmother. I think we can handle that recipe.
Yeah, and I have a feeling Uncle Hank is going to love it.
Oh, good. Let's move on to the traditional bread stuffing recipe, shall we? This bread stuffing is a classic. It uses gluten-free and vegan white bread to serve as a palette for sage, parsley and thyme. It is perfect with your favorite Thanksgiving gravy. This recipe uses Shah gluten-free and vegan white bread. As with the cornbread, cube the bread and bake it in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes or until crispy. Dice 1 onion and 3 stalks of celery and slice 2 tablespoons of fresh sage. Again, place 4 tablespoons of vegan butter into a large pot and melt it on medium heat. Add the diced onion and celery and cook for about 3 minutes to soften the vegetables. Add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Then add 2 teaspoons of poultry seasoning and 1 teaspoon each of dried thyme and sage. Chop 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley and add this to the pot. Stir the vegetables and herbs to combine. Next, add the dried bread cubes and mix everything together. Then add 2 cups of vegetable broth. Stir well to coat the bread cubes with the broth and vegetables. Butter a casserole dish and pour the bread stuffing into the dish. Cover with foil and place in a 350-degree oven for 40 minutes. Then remove the foil and bake for an additional 20 minutes or until the top is crispy. And there you have it! A classic bread stuffing made gluten-free and vegan. Think you can also handle making this stuffing, my lovelies?
We sure can.
Uncle Hank, what do you think of the stuffing Judith and I made?
Why, I think they both are the best stuffing I ever had since my cousin Bonnie Sue's stuffing passed down by her family, especially that cornbread stuffing. And did you say they are gluten-free and vegan?
Yes, they are.
Well, isn't that the cat's pajamas?
And there you have it. All's well that ends well. I suppose you both gained a little credit Thanksgiving.
Will we see you again, Fairy Godmother?
Don't worry, I'll be watching and back the instant you need me for more gluten-free and vegan recipes. And to our viewers, hit the like and subscribe buttons so I can continue to help these two with their recipe conundrums.